it is our distinct pleasure to be joined by LSU men's head coach Matt McMahon. Winners last night over Charleston Southern 77-68, moving to 4-0. Got a big tournament coming up at the Greenbrier this weekend. Coach, what's up, man? Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning.
Yeah, thanks so much. Always great to be with you. What a thing of beauty last night, but we were thrilled to get to 4-0. And as you mentioned, man, it's a big-time tournament field we got this weekend, starting with Pitt, who's a legitimate top 20 type team in the country. So got to get back to work this morning and get ready to roll.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned it, being not a thing of beauty, right? But when you're looking for a program, a team, whatever, to show like demonstrable steps forward, one of the ways you can do that is on a night in which your best guys, or maybe the guys that you've been relying to up to this point, just don't have it, right? Like when your strengths don't show up, have you built a team and a roster in such a way that somebody else will fill that void, and then you emerge with a win? And whether it's Victoria, some of the others last night, I felt like that was one of those type of games, right? Where yes, it's not ideal, but it can be used as a good learning lesson, but it also proves a bit of resilience to the roster.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we're still learning and figuring out the chemistry of the team. I love the direction it's going. I really just thought about this yesterday. We're playing 9 guys. Of the 9 we're playing, only 1 played last year. And
wow.
and that's Jalen Reed, and he's playing a different position this year. And so the other 2, Corey and Damian, were redshirts, so they were in the program and know the deal. But then you have 3 transfers and 3 true freshmen that you're trying to figure it all out. So I think consistency has to continue to improve. But you mentioned Victorious. It's been great to see his talent really emerge, coming off the 15 points at Kansas State and then to follow it up with 19 last night.
Coach, last time we caught up with you talked about, the non-conference schedule and, what last year you wanted to get done. Y'all weren't able to do it. You did it in conference play. And now, like here in this season, you started out, you're undefeated going into this tournament. Have you seen things from this team and this year in the non-conference so far that maybe you didn't see a year ago?
100%. I mean, we're a much better team, and team in true sense of the word. I think our urgency's there. Obviously, the most impressive performance for us is to go on the road to Kansas State in front of 10,000 people, great environment, and really delivered with a strong performance on both ends of the court. So that was a huge win for us. 1 of 5 Power 5 non-conference opportunities for us. We'll get 2 more this weekend, and you got to take advantage of them because we know what's coming in that SEC play in January, February, and March.
Coach, and when we talked to you in the past, you've also mentioned how, y'all did enough of the heavy lifting last year in conference play. It was out of conference play that kind of sunk you. How are you approaching this weekend with your team from a messaging standpoint? Are you leaning into the stakes, or are you trying to just zoom in, what's right ahead of you? Like, what's your strategy getting them ready for a tournament that, when it's all said and done, could, potentially have an impact on postseason opportunities?
Yeah, I think our guys understand that. So, really just try and prepare, for Pitt. What do we have to do to go 1-0 on Friday? And I'm just big on this. I know for you, when you're playing in college, man, you train, 355 days a year to play on 11 or 12 Saturdays. Those game days are priceless.
Yeah.
And, I just want to make sure our guys are really locked in and focused to do the things we got to do to have a chance to win. I mean, Pitt's got a point guard who will be a first-round NBA pick in June. So our perimeter defense will have to be really dialed in. They're a terrific defensive team. Our execution in the first half last night on offense sucked. So that's going to have to be a lot better.
Yeah.
I think you saw that in the second half. And, we'll really spend a lot of time, just preparing for Pitt today and tomorrow.
Coach, you mentioned Jalen Reed earlier, and when I went out to the Alabama State game, I mean, immediately I'm like, okay, he looks completely different. I mean, he looks like an edge rusher in the NFL right now on the court. Like, what was his transformation like to get his body to where it's at right now? And maybe what was the reasoning behind getting him to kind of change his body and kind of look completely different?
Jake, it starts. He's about the right stuff. I mean, it really means a lot to him to be here. He was highly sought after in the behind-the-scenes undercover transfer portal this past spring, but he wants to be at LSU. And, he really invested his time. I thought that the hire of Mike Chapman as our new director of strength and performance has been really good for him. But he's just invested the time. He's 6'10", 252 pounds right now, and he's moving better than he has. Which, he didn't score the ball well last night, but he's rebounding much better. He had 8 rebounds in 18 minutes last night, which is, a big step forward for him. He hit a 3, so we need more scoring from him, and I think that'll come. But he's really invested and put in the work.
Coach, I think we're going to kick out of this. So, I'm driving home yesterday. My neighbor's son, shut up in it, sitting there, just shooting hoops in the driveway, and all he wants to talk about is LSU basketball. And he's telling me, you should be talking more basketball on the show. I'm like, man, okay, I got you, man. I got Coach coming on tomorrow morning, man. So there's an undercurrent out there, man. It's working. People are recognizing the good work. They're seeing the improvement of the program. It's a lot of fun to watch. With the tournament coming up this weekend, I know you talked about preparing for Pitt, but when you have multiple teams in the field, right? You got an undefeated UCF, you got a top 20 team in Wisconsin. Do you have some of your assistants kind of doing some early scouting work on those other teams, or do you just cross those bridges when you get there?
Oh, no, there's a lot of advanced scouting that's been going on, even back in the summer. And, we really divided up similar structure to football. We have offensive staff, defensive staff, special teams. So they've been working on all these opponents way in advance. And then we'll put all our attention to Pitt on Friday. And then, we're the first game, so we'll get to live scout the Central Florida-Wisconsin game after, and then spend our time Friday night, finalizing the game plan for Sunday. And the nice thing about it, because how much college football matters, there's a day off in between the games. And so we'll spend Saturday getting the plan in place and be ready to go Sunday afternoon.
Coach, I want to ask you about one of your bench players. Corey Chess is somebody that I know he got the belt against K-State there in the locker room for what he was able to do. And with Fountain out, and Fountain's going to be a big part of what y'all get done this year, but he's really stepped up. And even last night, playing 22 minutes and scoring 8, but getting those 6 rebounds, he had 2 steals, 2 blocks, and so making a difference on both ends.
Production is king.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he's been incredibly productive. The 13 rebounds in 21 minutes at Kansas State, that's hard to do. You saw the tip dunk. You saw that when he's able to get out and transition, the big-time lob he had last night. And the other thing about Corey, he's a really good defender on the perimeter. So really excited about him. We do need Derek Fountain back.
Right.
He got off to a great start. But the activity level, the athleticism, the speed and quickness of Corey Chess, Damian Collins, those are difference makers for us.
Coach Matt McMahon, LSU head basketball coach, 4-0, heading to the Greenbrier this weekend for a tournament featuring very good teams, one and all. It's going to start with Pitt at 1:30 this Friday. Lock in. Coach, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning, and best of luck at the Greenbrier this weekend.
All right, fellas. Thanks so much. Hey, next time I come on, give me some Beastie Boys or Rage Against the Machine, something a little more juice coming into the segment.
Got
Coach,
you.
we got you.
Absolutely.
We got
Absolutely.
that noted.
Don't worry. We'll never
I
happen
appreciate
again.
it, fellas.